if we focus on quality and what we mean by that, when we say we invest in quality and value, it's 4 clear criteria. It's a type of checklist that we have, and it's companies that have a strong and sustainable competitive position in a good and growing industry, with a strong management, with a proven track record of value creation, you might say, as opposed to what, and a balance sheet so strong that they can weather any kind of adversity. And the first 2 criteria really tell you what we're looking for in a company that we'll invest in. By strong and sustainable, we mean that it has high barriers to entry and therefore is able to generate strong returns from the capital that it invests. But we also mean sustainable in every sense of the word, the ability to perform over the long term, but also, and I'll take us through it as one of the points I want to make as part of this update, in the sense of ESG, which is an important issue, but has been intrinsically linked for us with quality from the very beginning of the way we think about our investment approach. And a good and growing industry is one that has high barriers to entry, where there are leading players that are able to generate returns, and where there's some kind of reason for underlying growth. So whether that's economic growth, population growth, or some other kind of driver that's related to demographics or to technology or to some kind of disruption, these are the types of businesses that we're looking for, because we think they have the ability to generate value. And very importantly for us, it's a forward-looking definition. So of course we look at the companies that have generated value in the past. We look at the ones that have had consistency in terms of their growth, their margins, their cash flows, and their ability to generate returns. But the real question is not what's happened in the past, it's what's going to happen in the future. And that's, I think, the key to the approach that we have and to our ability to generate value going forward over the long term. If we then think about what we mean by that, then we think that quality is worth paying for, because it takes us straight into the discussion, and it's one of the points I want to make about where we are in terms of markets and where we are in terms of the opportunities that we see. We think that quality is worth paying for, as we say here. And we've put together some data for you that makes that point. Here we're going back, you've got 6 of the key positions that we have in our portfolio. They are very diversified companies. Some of them are related to digital transformation, which make up about 35–40% of the portfolio. Some of them are in consumer discretionary or consumer staples, like Nestle or LVMH or L'Oreal. And some of them are in life sciences and healthcare, like Thermo Fisher. So a very broad and diverse set of companies. And we've laid out for here what they were trading at in terms of price to earnings ratios in January of 2015 and now in September of 2020. And we've also laid out to you what those returns have been in terms of cumulative returns and annualized returns, and in particular, as you can see in the bottom of that table, compared to the MSCI World. So as you can see, these stocks were in January 15 not cheap at all. Adobe was trading at 61.8 times price to earnings ratio, Amazon negative, so not really meaningful, LVMH on 19 times, Nestle 21, L'Oreal 26, Thermo Fisher 18, compared to the MSCI World at 18 times. So you would say, well, they're roughly, in most cases, actually trading in line to the market or at a slight premium. And if you buy them, then they may have the ability to generate higher returns, but you'd say, well, they weren't particularly cheap, even if you just look at them at that period of time. You would have told us that Adobe is expensive. You would have told us that Amazon was basically uninvestable, even at that point, and you would have said the others are trading at a significant premium. And then I want us to look at where they are trading today, where in some cases they are more expensive by a factor of 20 to 30%. In other cases, like Adobe, the earnings have come through in such a way that it's actually cheaper, although it is still trading at what is a higher price to earnings ratio compared to the market. But that is the valuation that we're looking at today. And that is what we have to confront when we're thinking about what opportunities these stocks are going to offer for us going forward. And you can see there has been multiple expansion. You even see it in the MSCI World, where there's been also a multiple expansion of, call it roughly 20% that's taken place. But now let's focus on the returns. So you can see in the period from 2015 to 2020, the cumulative return for these stocks has been very significant. The lowest one is Nestle, which is up 100% from if we had bought it at that point. But you can see there's a much greater range. L'Oreal at 115, Thermo Fisher more than double, LVMH more than double, Adobe sixfold, and Amazon ninefold. So very significant cumulative returns that obviously translate into very significant annualized returns as well. And we've also given you, in the very last column, the annualized returns from 1992 to 2020 to pick a very long-term period that starts after a crisis, but that clearly goes through an entire period of market history and economic history that comprises, for many of us, certainly for me, my entire professional career. And the point we're trying to make is you can see that quality is worth paying for.